What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Sunday edition of the Smoke Shop here, talking MLB best bets for the day on Sunday, July 10th. I'm Dave Gleckner. Gleck, that's Tech Money Tech. What's up, brother?
What's going on? What's going on? Hey, I'm excited, man. We've been doing well, both of us separately and together, and overall, we're back again for Sunday shows. So I'm rowdy. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's been a month, been a little too long. We had to get some things settled out, and we're back at it. And hopefully, that month off, maybe you saved a couple bucks to go hard at it today. Tech, I'm going to open the show first off. Like I said, it's been a month, but a few things we've been noticing out there. I know you've been seeing the dogs. Dogs are barking heavy. And you know what? I'm starting to see a little bit of trends in the K rate spiking again. I think we're getting to some of the summertime. Balls getting a little I don't know if it's getting a little harder. They're getting a little better grip on the seams, but I'm seeing a little K rate pop, and you're seeing the dogs bark.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I think it was like late last week, going into last weekend, I started getting very vocal about taking dogs -1, almost to the point where I'm saying, don't even go do your homework. Just start writing them down and go back. While the month I was off Twitter, I was actually betting some of these, sharing some on Instagram, winning some. I remember on a Saturday, we had the Tigers +185. And I think here it is to sum it up. And they might be catching on now coming into this week, because remember, we're getting done half the season now, right? So they're probably going to do some homework in their offices, at least if they're smart. But remember, going into last season and this season, the books have made everything very, very expensive. What's the easiest thing to make expensive with psychology? It's your favorite. So anything you should pay $145 for is probably $175 now. What does that mean? Well, then the dogs are getting better at a price range and a value. But to get the best value out of this is that -1 line. And you're seeing a lot of them +185, +205, +235. And it's not even far-fetched. They're actually winning because we know anything goes down in these baseball games. So it's something to keep an eye on. I haven't checked back this week, but I wouldn't doubt it. It didn't work out that.
Well, there were a couple pops. I mean, even the A's yesterday popping with a big number. But what we see here is, and what we're trying to recommend, it's not just easy as taking -300. Actually, when I see a -300, I run. I don't even want to be near that game. No. You'd have to convince me to parlay, to double down on it with a -1, 1.5. And even those I don't love. Maybe -1's definitely not 1.5. So just be careful. It's all
on that note. 2 weekends ago, the Rockies gave it to the Dodgers all the way through. And then when there's decent games, you had Red Sox +140 that one weekend, and they won 2 that I paid attention, maybe all 3 at +140. So definitely pay attention, especially when you get a good game. If you like the other team, don't take the money line. Take that -1. You get a little extra juice there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Tech. We're going to open up with your pick of the day. I know you've been, you're kind of foreshadowing us a little bit there, but go ahead.
It's funny, last couple of days I've been doing well with the MLB picks, and then afterwards I'm finding out you and the team that you're working with, depending who you're working with, whether it's a couple of those platforms you're at, I'm drawing a blank. You're already on them. So it's like, man, all right. I know that I've been on the right track. We got to get together Sunday. I'm going into today, slightly different pick because we've been doing money lines or F5s. I'm doing the White Sox team total over 2.5 for the first 5 innings. It was -120 DraftKings in the morning when I got it. And it's just simple, something I've been vocal about going into being back this week or two on social media, on Twitter, is make sure you look at the Sierra number, which, to sum it up, it's the best way to kind of project someone's ERA. And I know the common, basic, casual bettor fan or viewer understands what an ERA is. They'll come and say, oh, this ERA is high, this ERA is low. You don't want to bet off that, but people understand that number. So let me give you this. When the Sierra is very high or low, I usually look for like a 1.5 or higher or lower differential. So what am I saying? Coming into today, Drew Hutchinson, on the 2021-2022 stats, he has an ERA of 3.38, okay? Now, just this year, he has an ERA of 4.3, right? So 3.08 or 4.3. But his Sierra is up at 5.63. Now, remember, he's basically a relief pitcher, so I do want to look at also last year's numbers. So let's get to that. So again, 2021, 2022, his ERA is 3.38. If you just look at this year, it's even worse. His Sierra is at 5.63. There's almost a 2-run differential with his current ERA and his projected Sierra. Now, there could be a reason for that. He's a relief pitcher, usually doing short innings. You give him a leash today, and now you get to see the metrics really kind of project out how they would be. And if that's the case, look, 3.38, 2 years ERA, 4.3 or so just this season. The Sierra is high. He does not strike people out, 13% K rate, very high walk rate, 12%. So what I'm saying here is that this is a spot and this strategy where I'm always attacking a Sierra differential, whether it's for the pitcher or against the pitcher, has been very successful for me. Even the month I've been off Twitter, I've been using it. It works well. I know about this stat. It's how I used to just get right into slates back many years ago in DFS. You turn on the chart, you click on it, and you got this projection of how someone's going to be. What's great about this, if I didn't lose you yet, is remember I just said a very high Sierra. So he's projected to have a high ERA. He's getting a chance to have a full outing today to go look as bad as he needs to be. His xFIP is at an atrocious 5.37. So that does tell me that, yes, I see a projection of his ERA to be very high, but the xFIP's been telling me it hasn't been that high just yet because he's basically been getting lucky. That's how I look at that, to sum it up for people that don't need to get into too much technicality behind it. So I just think Drew Hutchison is in a spot here to roll over. This strategy has been doing very well for me, so I'm going to continue to attack the strategy. Now, we get the White Sox lineup today, slightly dumbed down because we did lose Tim Anderson, but I'm still okay with it because historically, going back 10 years, if I've ever flopped a bet because one guy was out, because it'd be a critical guy, I actually went and lost money because the bet would still work out. So we're going to stick to that personal trend of mine. So to sum it up, White Sox over 2.5 runs, first 5 innings, minus 120 at DraftKings.
Love it, love it, love it. Listen, the White Sox are a team that's very confounding. When you get them and you hit them, they blow the bet away easily. And then one night they'll just sit there and, what the bed. But I feel like they're a team, the Twins aren't running away with the division. Guardians sitting there at 500, only 3.5 out. White Sox can still turn this thing on. They're getting back to healthy. Like you said, Anderson out today hurts a little bit, but as long as they got Vaughn, Robert, Abreu, even Jimenez getting back in there, I think they're up and down can mash this gas can for sure. So I like the pick, brother.
I like it. Yeah, that's my main one today. The only one I'm actually on.
All right, let me roll my main one out, and it's going to be a full game bet. I was looking around, a lot of really interesting lines today, a lot of even lines, and then a couple big ones. But when we settled down, the one I like the most is the Texas Rangers minus 115. Home today, the Minnesota Twins. Looking at Dylan Bundy versus Dane Dunning. I really focus on that Dylan Bundy side. 4.4 on the year, 4.50 ERA, and his FIP is 4.27, so not far off. I mean, they're kind of in line with what he's been pitching at. But as we dive deeper, Tech, your two things that you look at when you look at a pitcher, 17.9 K percent. So he's under that 20% threshold. 38.1 ground ball percentage. So he's under that 40% threshold. And then that relates to him with a home run rate of almost 1.5 per game. Let's also look at his away ERA, 5.89. At home, he's 2.10. He's almost 4 runs worse on the road. And now Texas is coming in. They're no chop liver. 6th in the last 2 weeks in batting average, 6th in WOBA, 5th in weighted runs created. They've been hitting pretty well. I think they can attack Bundy today. I think they're going to get some homers off him as he's letting up a fly ball in a hot stadium. I think Texas has a really good chance to attack Bundy today. And then on the flip, Dane Dunning, not great, 1-6. But if you carve down his ERAs, 5.52 on the road, 2.83 at home, much more comfortable, 3 runs less at home. So you got a guy 4 runs more on the road, 3 runs less at home. That's a 7-run difference just between these two starting pitchers that have identical ERAs. I think we got an advantage here. I'm going Texas Rangers, full game minus 115.
Right off the bat, the stat that I like about this your play to attack here is Dunning does have an xFIP up at 4.29, and when I start looking at above 4, 4.5, 5, you start kind of wondering about it. And Texas bats, they're fun to watch. I mean, they do get the job done. I'm seeing if I can pull some stats on the fly, but I'm with you. I do think that, especially with the price there, I like Texas at home. And according to this xFIP, it's kind of consistent to this number of where you're expecting Bundy to kind of, give up to that average of that 4 runs or so. So I like it. Just on the fly, looking at a couple things.
Yeah, definitely. You got Mike checking in. Tech, it says it's Dimitri showing
My
you
man, what's going on, Mike?
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks for checking in.
Definitely. Always love that. Love the love, love the support. Hey, you got a second one on the slate? If not, I'll throw one out.
I don't. I wish I did, but I actually don't. One thing I did notice, though, about this Texas team is when you have a season where it's been hard to get hard hit and hard contact and things like that, Texas does have a hard hit percentage above 40 or so. I saw here. I just lost it. 40.9%, top 8 in the league. And the barrel rate at 8.4%. So not bad. I like it. You just got to get Bundy maybe on 1 or 2 bad pitches, and they may leave the park. And a lot of times at Texas, it's very tricky to explain. I might actually have a chance to get to the stadium later this season. But anyhow, there's a weird wind tunnel and a funnel that forms from behind the home plate. Certain scenarios in the stadium happen, and that happens. And I don't know all the details behind it, but when you're watching the game, you'll see it, and the announcers will talk about it. Heck, man, you get one of those days today, you get Bundy on a bad pitch with this hard hit percentage in the barrel that Texas is bringing. Look, it's not as high as Atlanta, but it's top 8 when it comes to hard hit, and that barrel is up at 8.4 or so percent, near the 10. I like it. So I like Texas in this spot to attack Bundy. I like it a little bit. I don't have a second pick today. It's been a little tricky to find spots actually as we're getting into this weekend for me. So for me, it was like this: stick to the Sierra system that's been treating me well, or take the day off. So we're sticking to the Sierra system, kind of dumbed it down when I went on my size. I went 3 units versus I was going bigger Friday and Saturday, only going 3 units here today. So at least if I lose, I don't ruin our progression we've made. But I do think the slate's getting tough. I think we get people traveling, and people need to pay attention to this. If we still got them in the video, and I forgot the details, but let's say you got a team at home this is their second series back-to-back at home all week, not even a day off, okay? And they got a game today at 1 p.m. East, 1 o'clock, or an early game for their schedule, wherever they are in their country. It's an early game. And then they got to catch a flight to be at a team very far away tomorrow, all right? These teams kind of have like a weakness, and you want to look at betting against them, and I hope that made sense. And another thing I'm going to drop a hint on is we need to look at unders at Colorado. They're hitting way more than people think. They're actually up in the 60 percentile. Even if you just go and cheat and look at under 11.5, sometimes they're giving you 12.5. I'll share some stats tomorrow because I think a series starts in Colorado tomorrow. I might even do 1 unit blindly on the under at Colorado through the rest of the season, but I'm afraid maybe the books will adjust it. But they can't adjust it too much. They can't. You'll never see Colorado over under 10.5. Even when the balls were juiced or not, you just don't get that. They have to make it up because of the high altitude, but they're not going over up there as much as they used to. So something to look at.
All right, I got a couple more to look at as well. First, I want to answer a question. Any thoughts on Mets Marlins? Yeah, so listen, I think there's value in the Marlins today. Obviously, with Alcantara on the mound, my favorite bet of the day is Alcantara over 20.5 outs. He's done it 11 straight, I think 12 of 13. If you look at what he's done against the Mets, he had 1 game against the Mets earlier this year that they did win 6-2. He went 8 strong in that inning, 8 Ks. You go back to last season's last start against them with 9 innings, 14 Ks. He did have 1 blip on the radar where he went 6.1, but if you take those 3 against the Mets, he's pitched really, really well. His ERA about 1.5. So I think there's value on the Marlins. My only concern in this game is the way they lost last night. Those 2 errors in the bottom of the 10th were just, little league-esque. And it really takes a lot out of this team, of a Marlins team that was playing pretty well heading into New York. So it's probably a pass for me because I just don't know how they'll respond on a day game like this. But I will look for Alcantara to continue his streak. So that's you got anything on Mets Marlins?
On the fly, if I had to bet it, or if I'm in some tournament, that's a game I'm taking. Heck, I might be looking at Marlins at 5.
Yeah.
What is the price on that? 125 F5 money line. So here's the deal: just math logistics. 66.6% chance you can't lose your money because there's 3 outcomes: win or tie go your way. You don't lose your money. You have to look at that this year because remember, the books are outpricing us everywhere. So then we have to see, well, where's there just a basic mathematical edge in our favor? 66.6% in our favor. Now you're getting a price you can afford at 125. Now, if you actually look at the matchup, there's one stat that I will never bet against, but I'll always take it on my side. It's the ground ball percentage. And Alcantara has an elite 55%. So what I'm saying here is that I'll never bet against Alcantara then, because no matter how great an offense is, you might get 2 men on base, first and second, with 1 out, but Alcantara is going to generate a ground ball that's a double play. And that's going to happen twice. It's going to happen 3 times in your first 5 innings. It can happen as much as at once at 55%, and you're not getting anywhere. So with that said, I like, and if you nitpick at it, Alcantara is slightly better throwing strikeouts, but he throws 13%, which is elite swinging strike. So he's going to make the Mets go looking for it. Now, if I can switch over on the fly, if Michael is still here with us, let's see what the Mets are striking out as a team.
They're not much. They're very low.
They're very low, 19.8. So that's tough. So they are disciplined, and they walk around 8. That's near 10. So it's great that Alcantara has the edge of throwing swinging strikes, but you do get a disciplined Mets team. But again, I do think with what you're saying, what you covered, Alcantara to me edges out as the better pitcher here. And remember, Walker is walking. Walker's walking 10%. He's walking 10%. That's the red flag number. Write it down on the Post-it. 10%'s the red flag. If you're above 10% giving up as a pitcher, that's bad. If you're 10% as a team walking, that's great. So I like Marlins at 5 here at 125, 66.6% chance to lose your money. 125 is an affordable number. I think Alcantara is a stronger pitcher. And my argument, if I had just one bold headline, if I had just written down Marlins F5 125 dash ground ball pitcher, and that's it. That's it. Yeah. Alcantara is 55%. So I like that bet. I mean, you might convince me to take it. I'm not going to though.
Yeah. So and Mets bat 203 off Alcantara. And that's in 190 plus plate appearances. So it's a pretty strong number. They don't really hit him well. The one thing we got to be aware of is his K rate's only 16% against this Mets team. And Tek mentioned it. They don't strike out much. So something to consider there, as well as I probably won't touch the K prop. All right, here's my second one. I'm going to give you guys real fast. It's one I really do like. And it's later in the day, so hopefully you can take a couple of those dollars you win from early on and just place it on this one. But I like the San Diego Padres against the San Francisco Giants. You got them at minus 120 in a lot of markets. You might even find 115. I found some other places. But you got Mackenzie Gore against Alex Wood. 2 lefties going. Wood had to leave his last start with a tight hamstring. They said he's good to go today, but that already puts up a flag for me. I'm not sure how long he can go if that thing tightens up again. He went out in the 5th last time. And he's a guy, his numbers actually show he's been quite unlucky. His FIP is 1 below his ERA. He's a guy that does throw a lot of ground balls, but has a lot high batting average of balls in play. But what he doesn't do is he doesn't strike people out. And that's a concern to me when you go against San Diego. Additionally, his day ERA is 6.75. Doesn't pitch very well in the day either, and we got a day game today. Then on the flip side, you look at Gore. Gore's been pretty good. His ERA is right around 3, but during the day, it's 0.76. And then you got a San Fran team that strikes out the 6th most against lefties. In the past 2 weeks, they're 23rd in batting average against lefties. Team that doesn't hit very well. They won last night with Rodon throwing a complete game 3-1. Listen, if San Diego scores 3, I think that's enough to win this game. They're just not a very good hitting team. They stack that side of the plate with a lot of lefties. When you think about Jock Peterson, Yastrzemski. So I think we got a really good matchup to attack here with Gore. Minus 120 seems like a steal. So I'll take the Padres as my second bet of the day.
Nice. To be honest, these are 2 teams that have such a hard time gauging. So we got Jay Jerk just chopping in. Hey, if you missed it, I'm on the White Sox first 5 over 2.5 team total runs minus 120 at DraftKings. You may have missed it because it was one of the first things we covered. So over 2.5 runs, first 5, White Sox minus 120. Going back, DG, to this Giants Padres. Personally, I've been having a hard time gauging these 2 teams. I'm going to tell you why. Because And it just makes me so confused. So I just stay away from this stuff. The Giants actually have the highest walk rate as a team, 10.5%. And that stuff gets me really giddy and biased. And then when I start looking at their other numbers, they're on base, 320. This is for the season now, 329, WOBA, 320. Those are stellar numbers. On the other end, let's compare it to the Astros, 326 on base. So actually, Giants are 0.003 higher. Okay, WOBA's 320, but Houston's 338. And those are just two little things. Team average, 237 Giants, 247 Astros. Hard hit percentage, Giants, 38.4. Astros, 39.4. Walk percentage, Giants, 10.5. Astros, 9.6. But the Giants do strike out a little bit more at 22.9% versus the Astros when you compare. That's a full 4%. At 22, it starts bringing you down in the middle of the pack a little bit. And maybe that's why some of these numbers may not. Maybe they get on base and do this stuff, and then here comes some guy striking out with 2 outs or something. I don't really watch these games, but if I had to just guess on looking at these numbers that are strong, but their production isn't great, just by looking at those columns, maybe they're striking out when they get the chance to put something on. That's my guess. So with those numbers out there, I have a hard time always gauging what the Giants are going to be. I'm always like, man, they're gonna do really well. On the flip side, Padres aren't that bad either when you start looking at their numbers. And I remember they pulled back a little bit. They're 9% as a team walk rate, but they were floating between 9 and 10 for the last, month or so. So they're disciplined. They got Machado back. You almost get the platoon lineup, Wood, lefty, Padres on the right side. I can see why this is like a pick'em spread. And this is hard for me, DG. I'm not going against your pick at all. It's just one I can't put much of an opinion on because then when I go look at Wood and the metrics, he's a 50% ground ball pitcher.
He is.
And I can't bet against ground ball pitchers because even if you take out last year and the year before, but when we had the juiced ball and I was hitting, true story, above 70% on this one specific strategy, the games that didn't work was because we would have men on plate and then the ground ball double play ruined everything. So I just have still this permanent, I don't like using this word because it takes it away from our soldiers that are out there. Thank you for your service, but it's like a PTSD. I just had this trauma from losing money when I shouldn't have ever lost, I feel, because of the ground ball number. So that's why when I look at this game, I don't have an opinion, but I can't argue saying I could see why you take the Pods. At home, you do have Machado back. They're definitely doing better. And it's just, it's tough. I still don't have faith in the Giants offense. When you look at these names, Slater, Flores, Ruff, Mercedes, top 4 righties, I don't know, man. I get it. On base and everything's there, but that's also an average of a number. Maybe they start regressing now. The only name I see on there that bothers me, Yastrzemski. And that's because I respect the guy probably. And probably because he's the only lefty on the team. And I bat lefty. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're tough. They're 2-8 in their last 10. San Diego's 6-3 against them all season. They've only scored 7 runs in the 3 games in the series. They're just in a rut right now. And if you look at, they bat 118 against Mackenzie Gore. So it's not, there you go. Not a huge sample size, but it's big enough for me to say, hey, I mean, they just don't hit lefties well. And that's really where my focus is today.
I'll tell you what, these are one of those games I didn't get to look at it, and I'm not good at explaining this because it sounds very silly. Baseball, it's averages. It's averages. Only a couple pitchers maintain that 1.4 ERA, those studs that we don't even have them anymore in the league, man. And they were doing this.
Alcantara and Gonsolin, but that's about it anymore.
Right. But even when we had a dead ball, we would have sometimes like 3 or 4 of these guys. Noah was doing it. The Mets had 2 of them. Lincecum. There were a bunch of dudes out there. I just feel like they're not there in abundance as they once were. And maybe I'm wrong. And what I'm saying is, baseball. Someone said on Twitter a while back, I hate this logic that they're due or they're not due. Dude, in baseball, it's if you remember in 5th and 6th grade when they taught us mean, median, and mode, like everything reverts back to a common average. Like in MLB, if you're batting 300 in your career, you're going to Cooperstown, man. Yep. It's hard to go 1 for 3 because you might do it for 50 at bats, but give a man 150 and he's not holding up. So what am I saying? If we looked over the Giants stats so far and I just showed you how good they are, But we know as we break it down, like this doesn't make sense. They're going to start regressing. They're due. I don't care if someone argues me and says Tek's being silly with his due argument. I think with what you just mentioned, the Giants are now about to show who they truly are. If they're batting 112 or something to the lefty, everything you just said, they're due. They're about to now 5th, 6th grade math, mean median mode, revert back to what they truly are, and they've been too high. You can't sustain metrics that high when you can't argue your individual batters can bring that to the plate every day. Okay? Astros, Dodgers, Yankees, with closing my eyes, I'm not even looking on this side of the screen where that chart is. They have those similar numbers as the Giants, but they will sustain it through the end of the year where the Giants can't. They can't. And maybe this is that turning point where those numbers revert and you get an awesome price here where you're catching them right where the trend's turning. And you got me thinking, why not F5? Why not F5? 66.6% chance not to lose. If all of our homework's saying the Padres are – everything we just said means Padres are covering F5 as well. You get F5 at minus 120. So I'm with you here. Maybe we do let the morning day slide off, and I might look at this game because I can't argue backing the Giants. I just can't. Yeah, I know on paper they look great, actually. Go look at it looks good. But, DG, you just argued numbers and provided information that's given us more real-time information and more technical setup here against this scenario with Gore and the Padres. This might be a very, very under-the-radar strongest bet out there being taken action on the Padres. I know I rambled on here, but I'm almost just breaking this down if I was on my couch trying to see how much I like it, how much money should be on it. Look, I've had a great few days and a great week even outside of this. Maybe I might take the winnings if I can get this White Sox to clear and just put all the winnings on something on the Padres and just say, let's ride.
And we'll see. Like I said, the Giants haven't scored more than 3 in this series. You get me 3 off wood, I think we're going to be fine. We've been going on for a little bit. Let me just wrap this up with dogs. We always like to throw a dog out. I'm not going to give you any official dogs, but I'm going to tell you where I'm leaning today. There's 2 of them that catch my eye. One is the Philadelphia Phillies. They have St. Louis's number. They've shut them out 3 straight games now. And now 2 in St. Louis. The third was reverting back to a game in Philly last Sunday night. They got a bullpen arm going on the mound today. Get it, but they still have some value here at plus 110. A lot of the sites out there I see have them a 50-50 coin flip. If you're getting plus 110 and you have a coin flip, you're actually on the right side of expected value, or EV as we like to call it in the betting market. So look a little bit at the Phillies. I'm also looking at the Red Sox later tonight. Just keep an eye on it. They let one go on Friday night, but came back with a very emotional win last night in extra innings. Pivetta going against, I think is it Taillon tonight? 2 guys that I don't expect to go very long. I think this will end up a bullpen battle. And the Red Sox really just hit the Yankees pitching very well. And I just have a good feeling that the Red Sox are a live dog tonight. You're getting plus 120 in a lot of markets. And again, somewhere near a coin flip.
What a series, though, that Yankees-Red Sox weekend. It's been fun.
Yeah.
On that Phillies note, I'm going to chime in. -1, plus 125. Plus 125, -1. Hey, make your card look and feel sexy. Hey, the team total runs just released on the site I look at. Good news. White Sox are the 3rd highest team total runs today at 4.91. Nice. That's good. That's backing up our logic here.
Yes. Great. All right. Roll over it again. I'm on the Rangers. I'm on the Padres, both about -115, -120, whatever you can find in the markets. Tek is on the White Sox over F5, right?
Over 2.5 F5 White Sox. Yep.
Yeah, and you're getting -120 in a lot of markets on that. Love that pick. Hutchinson's a bum. And then we got a few others we sprinkled out. Pay attention. Alcantara over 20.5 outs. And then even Phillies, Red Sox as potential dogs that'll bark today. So with that, Tek, we got to get back on this once again very soon here for the people. And let's win some money today.
Let's do it. Let's close this weekend out strong, man. I think we got this.
I love it. Stay hot. And until next time, we're the Smoke Shop, Gloeck and Tek.